Meteorologist Matt Makins here. Welcome to the channel. Brian and I welcome you. We'll have an update on the snowfall potential as we approach Christmas. Today is Monday, December 22nd. Let's have a breakdown of where White Christmas may appear. Snow on the ground is shown on this map, but let's have a more refined timeline of when the biggest impacts are happening. And I think there are three big impacts ahead. The biggest is for the west, especially California. Surge of moisture. Watch on that satellite picture. Just a steady plume of water is hitting California. That's going to end up with some really deep snowfall in the Sierra. Magnificent timing for ski traffic. There were some worries about, skiers not having quality snow or deep enough snow. Well, in some cases there in the Sierra, around Tahoe, we may pick up upwards of 4, 5 to 6 feet of snowfall just in time for Christmas ski traffic. Elsewhere, you can see a storm flow here across the northern plains wrapping toward the Great Lakes. This moisture flow will create some travel issues for the northern states, the upper Midwest, southern Canada, and toward New England. We'll have a breakdown, very specific in this video. As far as totals, this is the total water that's coming to the country over the next several days through Christmas Day. Inundated will be California, especially coastal areas and the Sierra. Some of those areas will reach 10, 15 to 20 inches of total water. Same for the mountainous areas there north of Vancouver. You look toward the east and know the map isn't as colorful. We have some areas of maybe a half to 1 inch total precip, but some areas, like right in here, will be in the form of some icing. Could be some slick travel on the roads for the days ahead. Just in terms of snowfall, there's a little skiff of snow that's heading from Canada and stretching toward New England. We'll have more on that, very specific, in just a moment. Across the Pacific Northwest, the Intermountain Rockies, the Central Rockies, the Northern Rockies, and the Sierra. Let's dive in deeper here because there's a lot of snowfall on the way. You can look at the mountain range here, that's the Sierra. So as you look at that, yeah, we get into the deep purples, but that's where our gauge stops at 3 feet. Some of those mountain ranges will pick up 72 to 96 total inches of snowfall as we go throughout the next several days. Just tremendous amount from the surge of this atmospheric river event that's hitting the west coast. Let's have a specific timeline here of the rain, the snow. We'll bring in some icing as well. Here's the animation. It walks us through the next several days, but I'm going to pause it at some key moments. We'll start off with Christmas Eve in the morning. This is 6 a.m. Central Time, Christmas Eve. And you see the surface low right here wrapped up just off of California's northern coast. It's going to throw a lot of water at California, far western areas of Nevada, some of the Cascades here in Washington, through Oregon, a lot of water. Elsewhere, yeah, some light rain for just outside of Kansas City, really more Des Moines, stretching towards St. Louis, down toward Nashville, and then to Charlotte. For the New England states, we'll have some areas of snowfall. So yeah, some potential for some snowflakes to fall Christmas Eve morning. That'll be around Toronto, Ottawa, toward Boston, mostly staying north of New York City, up toward Maine and Halifax. There's a little bit of icing here indicated around Cleveland and perhaps in northern sections of Wisconsin. Let's take a step. Let's go to 6 p.m. Central Time on Christmas Eve. We have a lot of water continuing. It's spreading from California into Nevada. Now it's reaching Idaho and sections of Wyoming and Montana. We have heavy snowfall here in areas of Alberta as well as British Columbia, so some travel impact there Christmas Eve night across those provinces. Around Chicago, we have a rain, most likely a rain due to warm temperatures, but there could be some snowflakes mixing in or even some potential icing. Higher chances for icing will kick in as Santa's flying around early Christmas morning. Rain and snow for the west. Rain and snow have arrived in Colorado. Not particularly heavy, but details on that in just a moment. We don't want to leave anybody out here. Montana into parts of Alberta and Saskatchewan. See this area of icing, especially around Regina. There's another one near Minneapolis stretching toward Pierce, South Dakota. The pinks on this map indicate that icing potential. So obviously a potential for drivers there to have an impact as we go Christmas morning. Christmas midday, still some icing from Regina down toward Minneapolis. Rainfall, Chicago, Nashville, Houston, Dallas. Off to the west, we're continuing to see that atmospheric river event deliver lots of water in the form of rain and snowfall. For New England, most of the snow is tapering off or at least moving toward Maine and Halifax, the rest of the Maritimes there. As we get toward Christmas night, there's another slug of some snowfall coming out of Canada, stretching right over the Great Lakes, say the Sault there, Sault Ste. Marie, around Cleveland, Toronto, Ottawa, possible to have some snowfall. But as if you're traveling or anything on Thursday night, This is Christmas night. Look north of Minneapolis, stretching from central Wisconsin all the way up toward Regina and wrapping into some of the northern states like Montana, North Dakota. That's an icing potential. Flash freezing temperatures, road impacts in those areas. Meanwhile, the west, yeah, the atmospheric river events continue, but tapering off just a little bit by that point. But total water on the way, man, a lot of it for the west coast. We broke that down for you. We have a lot in some pockets here to the east, but not as widespread as what we have to the west. And you can see this area, the central states, very, very quiet. Not a lot of water on the way through Christmas. Perhaps that's good news for you if you are traveling. But again, total snowfall is shown here as we go through Christmas night. So we broke this down. Yes, some folks may see snow falling on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. The odds are better for Ontario, Quebec, around the Great Lakes, the New England states, and off to the west in the mountainous regions. Everybody else not likely to see snow falling on Christmas Day. Let's take a deeper dive here, as promised, with some of the snowfall totals. Just north of Vancouver, see how we reach some of those pinks and purples, kind of, I guess, lilac really into some of the deeper purples. That's moving from 2 to 3 feet of total snowfall there. And we may see that same thing south of Victoria, Washington. Throughout Idaho, yeah, there's some pockets of snowfall of a foot, maybe 2. Around Yellowstone, Tetons, toward Jackson Hole, there's going to be some decent snowfall, perhaps a foot to 2 there as well. Let's slide that map down to the southwest. We broke this one down for you in the Sierra. Outside of Salt Lake City, not a lot. 6 to 12 perhaps on some of those ski areas. Colorado through Christmas Day, very little. The southern areas, the San Juans, right down in here for Colorado, will have the best potential of picking up, say, 6 to 12 inches of snowfall, somewhere there. And yeah, there'll be some new snowfall for the northern ski areas too, but it's not a lot through Christmas Day. Odds will improve by this weekend, however, and Brian Shields and myself will have further updates on those weekend snowfall totals in a future video. Today is just getting you through Christmas and planning for that. But again, there's your snowfall for the Northeast, New England states, Great Lakes. There's some snowfall here. Some of these totals around Cleveland to Toronto don't amount to very much, just a skiff of snowfall, couple few inches in some cases. Here, let's slide the map here to the New England area. Maine, we have Augusta, and outside of Montreal, south of Quebec, Burlington, we do have some pockets there that may say 6 or 8 inches of snowfall. Don't get me wrong, that's well timed if you're wishing for a white Christmas, to have snow on the ground, perhaps some new snow toys arriving from Santa you need to play. So good news there. But if you're around Buffalo or Syracuse or Wilmington, DC, New York, even Boston, if you're hoping for a white Christmas, keep your fingers crossed. That snowfall comes through. You may see it. Does it amount to very much? Not a lot. And the biggest issue we have for this Christmas, for dreamers of a white Christmas, are the temperatures. And that's why when you look at that white Christmas potential map, it's confined well to the north. Even areas that pick up snowfall here to the west, in a lot of cases, those valleys are so warm, it'll be a rain-snow mix, or what snow falls may melt quickly, because we have a lot of records on the way. And just quickly to mention, I plotted every record high temperature on the map. I also did for record lows. We just don't have any for this week. But record highs are plotted on the map here. Hard to have a white Christmas when you have such heat covering us for the next several days. But on the other side of this coin, if you flip it, snow lovers on one side, travel on the other, you may really appreciate that warm forecast getting to your destinations, to your families and loved ones for this Christmas. And speaking of which, on behalf of Brian Shields and myself, you, your loved ones, families, friends, everybody, a very Merry Christmas. We'll have further updates in future videos. Thank you for being part of this community we're building here on YouTube. Many blessings to you and yours.